Hey, welcome to our Wednesday night YouTube broadcast for live and in person. Tonight we have an awesome NFT project called the Society with us. But before we bring the guys in from the Society, I just want to make an announcement here. Our current charity poll is live on Twitter. Just go to our HEROS Twitter account and you can vote there. As of right now, it looks like Hydrate Humanity is in the lead. So this poll ends tomorrow. But with that, let's get to the Society. I want to welcome Chris and Frank. Hey guys, how you doing tonight?
Doing great. How are you doing,
Awesome.
Scott?
I'm doing fantastic. As always, just, trucking along, daily grind, right?
Nice. Yeah, man, for sure.
Yep. Awesome. So tell us a little bit about yourselves, how you got started in, Web3, how you met each other, and we'll go from there, and then we'll get into the Society in a minute.
Yeah, no doubt.
Because you're right up top there.
So I've been in crypto for like 2 years, especially in the NFTs. Before that, I was in crypto, just trading crypto, doing Ethereum, Solana, some Matic. I dabbled with a little bit of Bitcoin and some of those meme coins, but really my side hustle was stocks and options. My experience is mostly in finance and accounting. I used to audit like real estate investment trusts, like publicly traded real estate investment trust, and I worked for corporate accounting. I also done some public accounting with that. So mostly all that, and then I met Frank through our community, and so we got talking related to this project. And the more we talk, it just seemed like a good fit for us to partner up into this.
Absolutely. How about you, Frank? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, for sure. First, I want to thank you, Scott, for hosting. It's an awesome platform. Really excited to share this project with everyone. And then second note, a little housekeeping. If you hear my dogs in the background, I do apologize. But yeah, yeah, good. Well, yeah, my name's Frank. I am the founder of the Society. And yeah, I've been in the whole Web3 ecosystem since I'd usually say like end of 2017, early 2018. A lot of that time was spent just kind of learning and understanding what this whole crazy wild west, as we call it, space is about. Been in the NFT scene since late 2020, early 2021, and kind of same thing there, just really learning about what NFTs were, understanding their use cases, and kind of just really getting a grip on what the whole hype and buzz was about. And the concept for the Society kind of came from that wanting to learn and wanting to understand. I have a background in a lot of different business areas. I've spent a lot of time in hospitality. I've spent time in medical sales. My current role is in marketing for a large retail chain. And it's not really what you would consider traditional marketing. I always have to kind of explain it to people. We're not like posting on social media and making signs and stuff like that in my department. We have a separate department that does that. We're more involved in merchandising, contract negotiation. We do some stuff with construction projects, acquisitions, different things like that. So it's pretty cool, and we're really excited to kind of dive into the project.
Awesome. And, Chris, I can totally relate with you. I mean, I've got more experience, with traditional means of investments than Web3. But you know what? I mean, I feel like it's the future. I think that's where everything's going. And I think we are all super early. And this is a phenomenal time for people to at least take a look at it, right? Because if you've ever been in a bear market before, you know where things are going to go. Right. And it's just, doing like what you said, blue chips are always a good, safe bet, or for the most part safe, again, not an advisor, but, awesome. I give you props for sharing that. So we have a comment here, Crypto Parm. He says he's excited to see what's going on, what you guys are all about. So tell us a little
Right.
bit about the society and how you guys decided that this was what you wanted to do.
Yeah, for sure. So, like I said, we spent a lot of time, or I guess I'll speak for myself, spent a lot of time just kind of learning about the Web3 space as a whole. And then when I got into NFTs, I kind of, what feels like everyone that's still left in the space, I got that bug. And it just, exactly what you just said, the use cases for NFTs are so just, we really don't even understand what they're going to be and what they're going to look like down the road, right? We're starting to get a glimpse of some of the real actual value that's there. And I always felt like there was a disconnect between what Web3 offered and what it could, the potential of what it could offer. And so I spent a lot of time seeing what other projects were doing, understanding the kind of Web3 ecosystem, if you will, and just wanting to know, how do you actually like bring real value to people? I kept joining projects, I kept being a part of different things in different communities, and short of meeting really cool people, which is in itself a utility and a value, in my opinion, there was a lot of empty promises. There was a lot of things that weren't able to be done, or people were just looking for a quick bag, right? Pump their bags and all the things. So I really wanted to try and fix that. And so that's kind of where the concept of the society originated. And I knew it couldn't be done just through Web3 alone. I knew that there had to be something that we could tie to Web3 to actually create that true and real value for community members, for people that are, wanting to be real investors in this space. There is a place for them, but it's really hard to filter out all the noise.
Yep.
And just a little bit more on it. We wanted to also incorporate really good art and really good, kind of a storyline, if you will, behind it. And that's kind of where the whole name of the society came up. If you guys have seen any of our art or anything that we've put out up to this point, we incorporate a mask into our PFP character, and the mask is kind of used as a symbol of that anonymity that people want for their information, for their data, but also that sign of community that masks provide, right? All throughout history, masks have been a symbol of bringing people together. And for me personally, I really think that that's what Web3 is all about. And so we wanted to kind of have a tip our hats, if you will, to like the Web3 motto.
Nice. Anything to add to that, Chris?
No, I just Frank was the mastermind of the concept of how to get to this point, and I was very excited when we talked about, we started going through the storyline, and then the part about the mask. I'm personally from a different country, come to the U.S. You see everything that happens here, politically, economically, and in terms of like race and things. And I think I was like, one thing that I loved about NFTs is that you put your PFP out there, and you're whoever you want to be. And I think that mask, it just resembles that same goal, to continue that. And the ultimate, the really what matters is what you're gonna get out of it, and not so much is what's the NFT or what's the PFP just about, but it's also what you're gonna get out of it. So I think that was really important to me. So talking to Frank, I was like, I could just not say no. I said we had to do this.
Right. So you guys came up with the idea of creating a story around your NFT project, and it's related to masks, right? And we're talking about how it's going to integrate from Web 2 to Web 3 and be beneficial for people that are, holders of your NFTs. So let's talk about that a little bit. And actually I'm going to bring this up right now because it just jumped away. But there's some of your artwork. I've been having that on the side there playing as you guys were talking about the masks. I'm like, I'm going to bring this up. This is pretty cool. Love the artwork. So first, who's the artist?
So his name is Freestyle Design Works. So go follow him. His Twitter is NYC_free. If I don't want to butcher that, I'll have to fact check that in a second here. And the guy is a legend. I mean, he is incredible. We spent a lot of time because we wanted the art to be really good. Mm-hmm. And we spent a lot of time kind of going back and forth with artists, and nobody could really get our vision. And it was like, I mean, Free just got it the first shot. He put out a base character, with sort of kind of a makeshift mask. A little backstory behind the mask. We wanted to use the Guy Fawkes mask, the traditional anonymous mask with the rosy red cheeks and the mustache and all of that. Mm-hmm. But it's copyrighted, so we couldn't. Right. But we kind of pivoted from there, and we got a mask 3D modeled, and we own the rights to it and all that stuff. But Free has been an incredible addition, and he's been more than just an artist. He's had really good insight into things, and he's been just an awesome guy. Now, he is not the one who made the video. A guy named Calix made the video. And once again, he just killed it, I think. So, I get chills every time I watch the video. I think it's pretty cool. If you listen to it with the sound on, comes highly recommended, but I'm biased. So
nice. And if anyone wants to check it out, the societynfts.io, you can get all their links to their socials on here. They have them listed right here at the top, and, definitely check it out. But, all right. Back to you guys created a storyline, and you came up with the idea to create a project. So tell us about that process and why you felt that was the way to go.
Yeah, 100%. So as I mentioned, I really felt like there was this disconnect between tying real value to your digital assets. And so I spent a lot of time trying to figure out why that was, but also like how to fix that issue. Things that work are things that fix problems, right? For the most part. And so I wanted to try and fix that problem. Well, the first question that I had to ask myself is, what do people actually want? And I felt like, and I still feel like, that question is easily answered by, they want to feel valued. They want to feel like their time and their money is being used to benefit them in some way possible. And so, with that question answered, then comes the maybe more difficult question is how? How do you do that? And so we spent a lot of time trying to uncover the how. We went back and forth on a couple different ideas, and it sort of felt like a no-brainer type moment when the idea of real estate came up. So real estate since the beginning of time has been a way to generate wealth and power, right? Yep. Whoever has the most land, owns the most stuff, generally speaking, just kind of, back in the day terms. So we wanted to try and utilize an established real world industry to provide true and intrinsic value to our community and to our holders. And so through that model, through that mindset, right, the NFTs are used as a symbol of a community that is branching out from the traditional ways of Web3 and utilizing, very traditional business models to generate revenue, to generate cash flow, and to actually have a legitimate business model that is used to reward its holders.
Awesome. And the next question kind of goes right off of that is how, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That all sounds fantastic, but how do you plan to implement this?
Yeah, no, and 100%. So it's really, it might sound complicated, but it's really not. Okay. So we purchase real estate properties. These real estate properties, right, are there's an immense amount of opportunities with real estate, right? Not just commercial and residential, but the ways that you utilize those real estate properties. Okay. Our initial means to utilize the properties will be for rentals, and the rental properties will be used, people, we purchase the homes, people move into the homes, and then they pay us because we own the homes, right?
Yeah.
And so that income from the properties will be used, as cash flow for the business. And I always say this, without the business, there is no project, right? The two kind of go hand in hand. And so it's really important that we prioritize the success of the business, because without that, nothing else matters. And so, the cash flow created from these properties will be used to A, grow the business, and to B, reward the holders. Now, whenever you're a part of something and your name doesn't come first, you can feel a little left out. But for all of the reasons that I just mentioned, they're both equally important. But without the cash flow, without the business model, rewarding the holders is not possible. So,
Right.
Hope that answers your question.
It does. Now, the next question is, why the NFT project? And not bashing or doing anything like that, but you two have met in the Web3 space. You guys have a passion for NFTs and like the whole idea of everything. But you came up with this great idea to start a business, a real estate business. Why and what is the reasoning for creating the NFT project to, share this with other people?
Yeah, Chris, I don't want to steal the show. So if you want to,
yeah, I was going to say Chris is about to doze off, so we got to get him involved.
Well, I think part of it is the reach that you can have with Web3 is completely opposite of what you could do through venture capitalism or through raising funds, personal funds, or getting a loan yourself or things of that nature. So the reach that you can get through an NFT project, not only get your membership, your entrance to this project, or your want to call it your sort of share of that project, it becomes something that it can be represented by the NFT, but it also, you can reach people all across the world, and you don't see that anymore. It's extremely complicated, and part of it too is like, even when you think about like, okay, you could create a small company, do penny stack, may file for the SEC, become a publicly traded, and then all that, it just sucks up all the cash flow out of the business. With this avenue, it allows us to have a higher reach and a higher and provide higher rewards to our holders, which it's almost impossible to do when you're just going the regular business route.
Yep. Nice. So you guys have done a soft launch. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And how many did you release for soft launch?
Well, let's back up a little bit. When you say soft launch, I guess I more so mean that we have, kind of we're building out in the open, I guess would be a good way to say it. So
Okay.
we've opened up the project for people to start to join and to kind of get familiarized with what we're doing. But we have not issued any NFTs up to this point.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I misunderstood when we were talking, back in the green room. Okay. So you guys are going to do a whitelist. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yes.
And what is the total NFT collection size?
So that's one of the things that's in discussions right now. Originally, our vision was 10,000, but the way the project is structured and the types of people I think that this will appeal to, it's already hard enough to actually execute on a 10,000 collection, and adding that level of struggle, I guess you could say, I don't know if that's the right word, but to an already pretty revolutionary concept doesn't really seem necessary. Mm-hmm. So we're having a community vote here pretty soon about the collection size. We're really leaning more towards 5,000 because I just feel like that might be a better number. That is one of the things that I think is really cool about, kind of launching early, right? We can have these community involved decisions so that way people, they're not just joining into something or everything's been decided for them, which some people might want that. And that can still happen. But at the same time, if you want to be involved, right, you have that opportunity. You can vote on, hey, I helped decide like how many were in this collection. I was a part of the first couple people that joined. And so onto the whitelist piece just a little bit. We're considering around 1,000 whitelist spots, depending on, the scale and the pace at which we grow. That's subject to change. But we are also rewarding people who join our Discord early. So it's a special role called the council. And the first 100 people within the council, will have special access. We have something really, really exciting for them that we haven't announced yet. So, there's a few spots left. I don't know if people have been joining since we have started talking, but there are a few spots left on the council. So, if you want to be a part of something like this, feel free to join our Discord. But then after that, that role is a bit dynamic because we really feel like people should be rewarded, yes, for joining early, but we also want people to, kind of earn that spot. And, and then on the flip side of that, we don't want people to feel like they have to grind in Discord or be, active 24/7 because it's just not feasible for most people to be able to do that. And so, people know if they're contributing or not. And so we want to do something where the people that are part of the council are the core, group. They're the people who are driving the project forward and really understand the vision and all the things that are kind of involved in that. And so it's a bit of a dynamic role where the specifics of this aren't exactly worked out, but we're kind of leaning towards people being able to vote people in or maybe vote people out if people have become inactive and in kind of situations like that to make it really feel like a community-led project with community decisions being at the forefront.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. Love that. Yeah, so just pop up a comment here. Peter, do you guys know Peter? We've all been part of bad projects, so this one wants to give back to the holders, reward them like no other project could. So awesome point. I love everything I'm hearing. Do we currently have real estate properties already purchased, or is that coming as the mint comes?
Great question. Chris, you can answer if you want, because I just kind of jump in, man, but that's up to you.
Yeah, no, that's sorry. That's just when the mint comes, because not only you have to build a business in a way, like one is based on we're creating a budget that will be focused specific on certain types of properties that will hopefully release the most cash flow to be able to reward our holders. So yeah, our biggest focus is we're going to do it on the mint. We will release documents as we go along. There will be like you've never seen in other projects. They don't give you a financial statement. They don't tell you where the money's going. There's no expenses. So that's where my background comes into play, because I have such a financial background. I'm always in the expectation that I want to see financial statements. I want to see where the money's going, where the money's coming. So that will be after the mint, because that will mean that yes, we know exactly who our holders are, and then how they should get rewarded at that point. So yeah, we will not, at this point, we don't want to jump into properties, because there are also legal fees specifically associated with how we're going to structure the company in order for prevent from properties like getting sued or something that's a property being taken out from you. So that's why we don't want to just jump the gun right now until we actually launch our mint.
Nice.
Yeah,
okay.
I want to touch on one thing there as well. I feel like it's extremely important for people to really, when they decide they want to be a part of this project, it's something that they're going to be able to build with, right? Not necessarily just be sort of just a watch or buy, right? Like you get to be a part of all of this that we're talking about right now, because everyone's decision, impacts the vision and the future of the project, and everything that, we're talking about right now. We really want to be community focused. And I know that's kind of a buzzword that people throw around, but I think some of our actions already have shown that. I mean, we have put out announcements about, projected funds from the Mint, where those funds are going to go. I mean, we've been, at this point, there's not a whole lot of financial talk as far as like actual money coming in, but we've been transparent about where that money is going to go as soon as we get it. And I think that that's a pretty, we hang our hat on that. I'm proud of that.
Absolutely. So, that has to all be part of that discussion. And someone did comment here. Petey commented, looks like there's 93 spots taken for that top 100. So 7 spots left. If anyone wants to hop in there and join, you just want to click on the little Discord link right up here to do that. But, one of the things that has to be part of your discussion is you want to be able to buy, real estate property with your Mint. So you need to make sure that the Mint's going to bring enough money to at least put down, a sizable portion to, not have an overbearing mortgage, especially with the way the rates have gotten. So, with that, I had seen somewhere there was talks of 10,000. You're saying that you guys are discussing possibly dropping it down to 5,000. And is this the conversation that you're having with your community that, hey, if we do this lower amount, it means that it's going to have to be a higher price per NFT, or is it going to stay the same price and we're going to downgrade the size of the property that we're going to invest in?
Yeah. So great question. And we have been very transparent about that with our community. So I think it was this past weekend, we put out an announcement and we put 3 little Excel kind of tables, right? And we had one with a 5,000 collection and one with a 7,000 and then one with a 10,000. And through each of those collections, we gave different Mint prices of 0.2, 0.1, 0.07, and 0.05. And, we were very clear in a couple of them that, if the supply is this many, the Mint cannot be this many. And the reason for that is a lot of what you just said. So, for these first couple properties that we purchase, we really want to purchase the homes, outright with cash for a couple reasons. One, we want to reduce our overhead and we want to increase our cash flow. Purchasing the home with cash allow us to do that, a lot faster. And, it also reduces the risk to the business. It reduces the risk to the project, and ultimately to, everybody involved. And so, we have a threshold where we want to hit. That threshold is around 3 homes. We feel like we can sustain and grow at the rate we want to with that many homes. Now, no one here is going to be naive about selling out a 10,000 collection at 0.2, right? But, we did give that option. We'd be able to buy a lot of homes, but we're not, trying to put up something that we don't think is feasible, right? Set achievable goals and make them happen.
Nice.
And with that, let me just add really quick that not only you were saying like it helps to de-risk our investment, but it also like it helps to build that equity where we can just leverage at that point other money from other sources to be able to continue to grow the portfolio, which that's why this is an initial like said, okay, we got to do this outright so that way we can leverage eventually debt and other means to just completely grow the portfolio as fast as possible.
Right.
Yeah.
And do you guys own any rental properties now, individually? Are you guys landlords at all?
So no, I'm not. Okay. But I've been involved in several aspects of the real estate industry my whole life. My dad's been in the mortgage business, since forever. So I've spent a lot of time on that side. My current role, allows me to be on the commercial side of real estate quite regularly. Like I said, the construction side, the acquisition side. So understanding evaluations, understanding, what makes properties good, is a big part of what I do on day to day. So,
right. So, my experience, as a landlord, and this is something that, needs to be explained to the community, is that just because you're collecting that rent check doesn't mean that 100% of that rent check is what is getting turned over to the community, right? You're going to have overhead costs and things that you have to plan for. So, owning a property means maintenance and setting aside funds to be able to put a new roof on, or if, a water main breaks in the basement and floods the basement, right? Or something of that nature. Okay. You need to account for, vacancy, because you sign a lease and there's a fee to get out of that lease if the tenant wants to pay it, but then you have a period of time where you have to have a empty house and be able to cover all the costs of that home while you try and fill that residence, right? So tell us a little bit about your breakdown. And Chris, you're the numbers guy, so let's hear it.
yeah, I was going to defer to Chris too. So
yeah, and before you get started though, Chris, I saw something here I wanted to bring up. It looked like go ahead, Chris. I'll find it and then I'll bring it up later.
Yeah, I was gonna say in terms of owning rental property, I do own rental properties, but they're not located in the U.S., which is why when I started working in the focusing on the real estate part, actually I did not wanted to buy in the last like few years, because if you notice how overheated was the since before like late since 2019. It was just a completely hot mess here, so I just never pulled the trigger on anything here for that reason. It just didn't make sense for me financially, and I knew there was going to be a correction, and the correction is happening now. So I did not. I'm actually glad I didn't pull the trigger, because I did. I was about to just jump the gun and decided not to. But yeah, in terms of in property, yeah, so that's included part of our budget, right? So we're gonna have a specific. It's gonna be included in our budget that we will have like a cushion, basically safe for any issues. About we're looking probably about 30% of our revenue will be used to reward holders while we continue to build a portfolio. Eventually, when you have a large portfolio, especially if you start jumping into debt or anything like that, you also have to account for debt. But one thing that I like to think of when buying a property is like 3 points of exit. You have or 3 points of revenue generation, which it could be Airbnb, for example, short-term rentals. The other one could be company rental. So you can partner with a company, basically just rent the property, or advertise with specific companies. For example, that they bring engineers or nurses or things like of that nature. And then the other one will be just refurbishing and selling the home. So I think using those 3 points of exit, it minimizes a little bit of your risk in terms of what will be your cash flow utilized.
Nice. So the economy has to be on your minds, right? With the way everything is kind of going. I was in a space on Sunday with a few others, and we got to talking about, the dollar, right? And how much it has lost value over the last couple of years. And a good example of that is the price of eggs. So we're seeing that the real estate market, at least I'm seeing the real estate market kind of stall a little bit, where, you're seeing homes that are readily available, where you go back a year and, Chris, I'm sure you can contest to this, anything that went on the market went off the market like within a week, right? It was there and gone. And there was, almost impossible to buy something, right? So now you're starting to see those real estate signs staying up, and they're staying up for a longer period of time. Interest rates are rising. So that means that, people are a little bit more hesitant about buying those homes, but you guys are talking about buying cash. So what are your concerns, or what do you feel is going to be a obstacle overcome for you with the way the economy is going? Do you think you're going to hit any obstacles? And if so, what are they?
Yeah. I'll go real quick, Chris, and then I'll pass the mic. Obviously, yeah, we'll definitely hit obstacles. I think it would be naive to think that we wouldn't. But I do also believe that we are in a unique position to start a project like this because of everything that you just mentioned, right? Generally speaking, the longer something sits on the market, the price will go down. And there's a lot of benefits to that, right? People are going to want to get out of properties for whatever reason, right? There's always people who need to sell and make some money because they're moving or because they got divorced or whatever it is. I mean, a number of reasons. And we want to utilize that opportunity to get better deals on real estate. Now, as far as the way the economy is situated right now, it'll be an interesting next year to see what really happens. I do believe that we'll see more rate hikes as time continues to go on. Mm-hmm. But I do believe that that'll work in our favor because of our model as well. Being able to rent properties, the higher the rates, the more renters. And so, we'll be able to utilize that to our benefit.
Nice. Chris, anything to add to that?
Yeah, I think, like you mentioned, I think inflation, it's unfortunate what we're going to see personally, like I feel it would happen. Again, this is not financial advice or anything, but because of the way inflation is and where market rates are, there's going to be an increase of inventory. There's a lot. You can see already how many tech companies have laid off people, and it's just going to get worse. Eventually, we're going to start banking already laying off because what's happening is, people cannot afford things. And what's happening during the pandemic, now we're seeing the backlash. So that we can see the correction happening, and that's just going to mean there's going to be more people probably wanting to exit out of their homes, which it will increase the supply of homes, and it will put downward pressure on the pricing. And that's where we could leverage that part, which that's what Frank was saying, and it start to enter the market and to start purchasing property. So that's where I think we could hit that sweet spot in the next year, and then just use that in an advantage.
Awesome. Absolutely. And that is one thing that you always have with property is if you do own it outright or are in a positive equity position, you always do have leverage, right? But Vanes popped in and said, we'll have to catch the beginning since he missed it. Just to give you a heads up, we did an acapella sing-along, an old throwback from Boys to Men, and we killed it.
Scott was on. Gosh, I can't even talk about it.
Chris was like on fire, man. I brought a tear to my eye, so you got to check that out. But what's up, Brio? Good guy there. So no, I love that. I love all that. So do we have a launch date or a roundabout launch date in mind of when you're going to release the NFTs, when you're going to drop them?
Yeah, there's a couple things we want to. Nice. Baines has been around for a while, so shout out to him and everyone else from the society joining today. But there's a lot of things that we do want to get hashed out. We have a roundabout date would be, in a perfect world, maybe 3 months to 4 months away. And a lot of that has to do with our ability to scale and grow a community. We want to do it the right way and organically. We're not really interested in the means that have been used in the past to just kind of do giveaways or do things like that. Not saying that we won't, but do things that don't actually reward the community with authenticity and genuine connections. And so I feel like to do that and to do it the right way takes a little bit more time, which we are okay with. But a lot of it will depend on how quickly we can scale and grow the community.
Nice. So something I guess we didn't touch on. So you guys are going to take a portion of the profits of whatever rent comes in. This is the properties that you're buying after, you hit certain milestones on the mint. All right. And how long will the people that are holding the NFTs be able to reap the benefits of those NFTs? Is that something that is going to be a few cycles and then there'll be another NFT coming out? Is that something that is going to be never ending? How does that work?
Yeah, so we want to get it. We want to be able to reward holders quarterly, and so that is the long term goal, is to have quarterly rewards distributed to holders, and our kind of cushion there would be, depending on the time we mint, the first quarter of that. Let's say we mint it right at the beginning of quarter three. That first quarter, right, would be to kind of build up the business and to get everything rocking and rolling, and then we would evaluate in quarter four whether that is the time the rewards would be distributed, or if we would wait until quarter one.
Right. Nice.
So we understand the necessity to make things happen quickly in the Web3 space, but as we kind of have alluded to a little bit, we really want to attract those people who understand that building something of this scale does take time, but we're doing everything we can to show that we're here to put in the work and make everything happen.
Yep. And listen, anybody that has shot up and, has acted hastily and, really pushed their project, a lot of those aren't around anymore, right? They couldn't withstand the market that we're in. And that's because of the value of their project, what they had built. What they had built was essentially, a meme, or just, as far as NFTs, just, a JPEG, right? That was a cool picture, but then what, right? So, what you guys are doing is not something you take lightly. It's not something that you want to jump right into. It's something that is going to require some, research, because between now and 3 months from now, the entire real estate market could change. You guys could mint. And at that point, we could have another, and I'm not saying this is happening, but, it could be another 2008, real estate crash, with the way everything is going in the economy. That's a possibility, So if that happens, that means that now those 3 properties that you were planning on buying, you might be able to get 6, right? So there's a lot of things that are moving parts in this, and I get that. And I appreciate the fact that you guys are doing it, with everything in mind and doing your due diligence to make sure that you're doing it right. That's awesome. So I brought up your About Us page. So Real World Industries, as a means to create unmatched utility for holders. Genesis Collection will give holders unparalleled access to the society and all it has to offer. So let's talk about that. So anybody who mints out one of the original NFTs, what all do they get with the society?
Yeah. Chris, I'll let you go.
Well, actually,
now I need you to sing it though. Can you sing it?
Yeah, sing it. I like that.
Voice to man type of thing, right? Frank, I don't have that document that we have prepared. We had together. It says
Okay.
why to buy the NFT.
I don't know. I don't have it right in front of me, but I'll just kind of say what I can remember from it, and then kind of go on a couple other things there. So
I can pull it up. I might just have to go off camera.
Yeah, you're good.
Do that.
Yeah. So there's a lot of benefits, I think, to a project like this. One, passive rewards, right? There's not a whole lot that will be required from members that hold the NFTs to receive the rewards. Also, you are going to be able to be a part of a real estate investment company, right? Not everyone has that luxury, and not everyone has the ability to be involved in real estate for whatever reason, right? Maybe it's the country that you live in, or how maybe you're scared to enter into the market because you don't fully understand it. There's a lot of real estate kind of seems like the big bad wolf, but when you kind of boil it down, there are a lot of complexities to it, but it can be relatively simple when you kind of dissect it a bit. So not only, are we going to limit ourselves to single family home rental properties, right? There is an immense amount of opportunities with real estate. And so, we have very large visions of expanding into multiplexes, apartment complexes, developments, commercial real estate, the list goes on. And so all of those things are going to be used to reward our holders, who in turn will, see the value in the NFT. And Chris kind of mentioned this earlier. We also really want to focus on, the first collection. I won't say that we will never mint another collection, but the first collection will be, the primary focus. And once we are able to utilize the real estate properties that we own, we have the access to use traditional financing methods to raise more capital and then go expand the business even further. So that way we're not having to, mint another collection to raise capital and grow that way. We can do it in a way that's been established that people do every single day, right? So
Absolutely.
it looks like Chris got the document.
Yeah. So I would say like part of it is like you can earn rewards for minimal participation involvement, which that's where we want to get our holders involved. Like even if we have, let's say, a deal or something, we want to get them involved. We want them to vote. We want them to see what's all about in being part of this business, because ultimately the long-term goal will be they are holders of something that's generating, substantial money. But, over time that will happen. The other one is education. So I think a lot of times you see real estate investment in terms of multiple videos, multiple sites, multiple podcasts, multiple things. You can get directly all this education directly from us. So we will be so connected with our holders that we want to be able to provide that same education to all of them. The other one is obviously potential to earnings. For example, let's say there's a great deal that's happening and one of our holders brings it up to us and say, hey, I did this little research. Here it is the home or the property. What do you guys think? We're considering finder fees, right? Like that would be another thing, like saying, hey, thank you. Here's something else for finding a deal or finding a property or finding something that we could leverage to continue growing our portfolio growth. The other one we were thinking is about our ability to participate in real estate deals. Someone that wants to get their own real estate portfolio growing, well, we can help with that too, right? Obviously, without saying, joining a community of like-minded people. So since our focus is going to be into real estate, if that's where you want to be involved with, well, we are the one to do it. Access to win rewards by entering raffles. So we also want to include not only that we're going to do is to continue doing rewards. We also want to use as we generate earnings. We want to put some aside to say, okay, if something happens, or someone needs something, or just start raffling rewards, right? You never know. You could get a trip to somewhere. And also potential discounts on properties. We discussed that. Let's say someone wants to purchase a home, and they don't have a means to do it. Well, we'll provide the access. We'll provide the property. We'll provide the discounted rate. You go to any bank right now, what they're going to offer you, 6%, 7%, depending on where you are. It also depends on the risk. Well, we could, if it's someone that's been a holder of us, of our NFT, for just a small amount of money at the beginning, then but you can also get a discounted purchase price. And also, like we talk about career potential. So anybody that wants to get involved as we grow, we're going to need more people. Our intention is not to just stay locally. The intention is to continue to grow nationally, and then see where it goes from there.
Nice. So with the NFTs, they're getting minted to buy the properties. The people that own those NFTs are going to get reap the benefits of those properties. So when you expand, is that going to be, and I think you answered it, but I just want clarity. Is that going to be added to that portfolio of the original NFT holders, or is that potentially something that you may introduce another NFT collection for, commercial real estate versus, the residential, right? So for every different type of, real estate venture or group of real estate properties, you might release a new collection. Is that a possibility, or is that just something that you guys haven't thought about much, or have thought about and not sure?
Yeah, we've thought a lot about multiple collections and different things like that. It's not something that we are super interested in doing. We we honestly, I think if in a perfect world, we would just have one collection, and I think that would be just. I think it would be extremely unique, and I think that it would also allow us to, um, focus on that core group, focus on the people, and grow with them. But um, I will never say never, right? It could be a potential where we release a second collection, but the Genesis collection, the first collection that's dropped, will receive and be a part of every single business property that we purchase from, mint until forever.
Wow. So that's kind of interesting. Initially, with three properties, and depending on if you're going 5,000 or 10,000, it's not a whole heck of a lot that's going to get dropped initially every quarter, right? At least to each holder. But, you take that and let's add 100 properties to that, and that's a different story. I mean, that could be pretty life changing, right? Because now they don't have to deal with all the headaches of being a landlord. They let you guys deal with it, but they get to reap the benefits, right?
That's right. And
Yeah.
then, when you tack on multifamily homes, apartment complexes that are all generating the revenue that one property generates, right?
Hmm.
And you multiply that by 50, right? 50 units or whatever. That's why we want to focus on the long game here. And it's extremely important that everyone understands that. And I feel like we've done a good job of making that transparent with everyone. And we're never going to sit here and speculate or tell you something that we don't believe in. And if you ask us a question, or if anyone asks us a question and we don't have the answer, I'll tell you. I don't know. We haven't really thought about that too much, but so.
Yeah, I think it's very common. Something that's very common in this space right now is delusion, right? There is a lot of collection delusion, and I absolutely hate that. The moment that I notice that's going to happen in any collection, and I just rather exit, because I mean, I think there's only very few that have done it right, and those ones that have done it right. Some of them, your only benefit has been the appraisal of the collection. Our intention is not that. Our intention is like to continue not growing the collection, but grow our portfolio, because the portfolio is what ultimately will reward our holders. So we have no interest on continue throwing collections and saying, okay, here we go, keep funding this business. No, our goal is to fund it through the properties that we're buying.
Nice. Shout out to Diego. Love you, buddy. um, yeah, no, I love that. I love everything that you guys are putting together. I'm excited. I'm going to take up one of those 7 spots personally.
All right.
'Cause, I am very passionate about, real estate, and investing in it, as well as other funds that invest in it. So, I am definitely going to take a look and dive deeper in. But with that, I want to open up the floor. I know we have quite a few people in our chat. Anybody wants to pop up and ask a question or send a shout out, please do. We're coming up on just about an hour. And with that, I'm going to ask, Chris and Frank, you guys, anything that we missed that, I should have touched base on? Because you started talking about real estate and I just got sidetracked.
There's a lot to unpack with our project. I think it has to do with, because we're trying to bring in the PFP NFT culture into a utility-based project, right? So we really want to incorporate all the aspects of it, because I think, it's Web3 and blockchain technology. I say this all the time, is going to change and revolutionize the world and the way that we do everything. I truly, firmly believe that. And we're still so early into this space. I mean, if you are here right now, you are very early into the entire Web3 ecosystem. And, the next 3 to 5 years and on are going to be just crazy, the amount of technology and the amount of use cases that this stuff is going to present. And so, I just, I've always kind of led with that mentality of, what can we do? What can I do to help the next person? What can I do to try and do the next right thing? And this kind of feels right aligned with my values and the things that I, hold, that I'm proud of myself for, and the things that I hold high. And so, we just want to make sure that we do it the right way and that we do it with the right people.
Nice. How about you, Chris? Anything to add to that?
I would say for me, it's very simple, right? It was just always focused and everybody winning. I think it's been said a lot in these NFTs projects, but I've never seen one that actually said like, okay, we're building a business, and the business is actually something that has worked and that has always grown. And this is how we're going to reward you. It's always like, okay, we're going to do a video game, or we're going to do this, or we're going to do that. And all of a sudden you're thinking, okay, but did you actually file for a company? Are you going to provide financial statements? I mean, well, yeah, you're buying a PFP at the same time. It's like, you told me that you're selling me a company. No, it's not necessarily just a project, unless you are advertised as a project, as an actual PFP, as a collectible. Otherwise, I think I got into a discussion with some people about this is in Twitter, back and forth. They were saying, you don't own a share of the company. But if you look at it from a legal and accounting perspective, if you tell me I'm going to receive all this from the NFT, those are called performance obligations. So you should not be able to say, okay, I'm pocketing that money, and then I'm gonna and then if we can give you the rest, we give it to you the rest. Technically, you can't pocket that money until you give me the rest, because you cannot call that revenue until you have completed those performance obligations. And that's where I think Frank and I have been focusing to say, okay, we do want our people to get rewarded. We do want our holders to get rewarded. That's why we are not even considering a collection in the near future, another collection in the near future, because it's very specific how we want to do it, making sure that everybody's getting something out of it.
Nice. And then last question before we go in the closing comments, where do you see Web3 and the NFT, I guess, market in 10 years? What do you see it becoming?
And Chris, you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. I think to me, it's probably going to be broken out in three different things. One is going to be for social presence. What do you own, what do you have, like social technology. The other one is going to stick with video gaming. Once you own a PFP, and then I could see, cross chain playing, and also hopefully now there were several companies that are going to come together, and you're going to be able to like transfer your avatar from place to place. And I think the third one will be some sort of another way of generating or creating like the new stock, which is represented by this NFT. But they not only will include the information, it's this publicly available. It also will include information. I don't know, like those soulbound tokens. They will include information that is specific to everything you need. So if you just open the contract, you should be able to see everything that's about that company, what's about, what they're selling, how they're selling it. Royalties, all this information probably should be there, and it will be represented by the NFT.
Nice.
That's how I see it probably coming in the next 10 years.
Yeah, probably sooner. I think all those things are probably within 3 years because I've been talking to a lot of projects. So I think we'll see that a lot sooner than 10. How about you, Frank?
Yeah,
What do you think?
I pretty much agree with everything that Chris said. But I also think that is going to be a lot of the boring stuff, right? Like, with Amazon entering in the space, this is just speculation. I don't work for Amazon, and Jeff doesn't call me, unfortunately. But they're probably, my vision is that they would use that as another form for Amazon Prime, right? It's a more transactable, more transparent version to use their Amazon Prime subscriptions. I think it could be things, like owning like a timeshare, medical records. I think it's going to be kind of the boring stuff that's going to really make the biggest impact, as far as like humanity in the world and the efficiency of how we operate works. And also, real estate transactions, I think through the blockchain would be just so much simpler, right? You can verify ownership and you can transfer it with the click of a button. And so, I think like we kind of mentioned at the beginning, the value and the utility in the use cases are just unmatched. And we really don't know what the future is going to hold because this technology is so powerful. And the smarter people that come after us will also figure it out pretty good, I'm sure. But I think we'll take a good stab at it.
Yeah, and I mean, even with the field that you guys are looking at, with real estate, you look at the deed to a house and the volume of paper that it consumes to make up that deed, and the multiple times you have to sign it, right? So with NFTs, I mean, it would be so easy to combine that into an NFT, have it documented, signed, and once signed and funds transferred, you take ownership, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And now you're holding a digital file, and that's where we're heading. I mean, we don't realize it, but I was talking to you guys about our NFC products. NFC technology has been around forever, and we are seeing it on a daily basis on our credit cards now, right? They're pushing us away from fiat currency and using credit, right? Or debit. So you're not ever really physically holding cash. You're tapping your card, and that tap is transferring funds. So we are being pushed into this era. And I think, NFTs and crypto is just at the very beginning of where it's going to go and the mass adoption it's going to gain. So we are all very early, like you guys said, and I appreciate, everything that you said there. And I think with a lot of that, there's going to be some surprises there too, that I've experienced some things that are already available with NFTs that are pretty crazy and what they're able to do. But I digress. Gentlemen, we have been going for an hour and 5 minutes. I like to keep these short because it keeps it, simple to refer people to have them learn about your project, right?
Awesome.
So let's move on to closing statements. So any closing statements?
Scott, I appreciate you having us on. I really do. It was nice connecting with you in DMs, and it's always nice to connect with someone in the space. So, hats off to you. I really appreciate it. Thank you for everyone that tuned in. This project, it really means a lot to us, and the ability to actually reward people and to run an NFT project like a business, not like a hype train. So it's really important to us, and that we put that as our forefront and as our focus. Business minded but community driven, and so those are kind of the pillars that we really want to value.
Absolutely. Chris, how about you? Any closing statements?
Yeah, I couldn't say better than Frank, to thank everybody, to thank you for the space. You know, join the society. I mean, right now we're like the very early stages, but you can make a significant impact right now. And at the end of the day, regardless of whether we go with, 1,000 collection, 7,000 collection, 5,000 collection, the ultimate goal will be the same. We are going to win here. We all are going to win here. And our goal is we'll continue to focus our efforts to manage this as a business and provide people with all the transparency as possible. That's what we're here, right? That's what we're showing our faces. This is not like I'm not docs and this is just me or anything. No. We're right here showing our faces, saying this is what we're gonna do. We're not joking that we're putting it out there to our community to vote for, because we all part of this decision. So join in.
Awesome. I was, thinking that you guys might have shown up with masks on, but
Yeah.
I wasn't sure.
That would have been perfect.
I know.
Great,
I was just
right?
thinking that when you said that too, but the masks aren't ready.
Yeah, right. Shout out to Petey. And I'd like to encourage anybody who's watching this, please like, comment, subscribe. Let's keep the show growing. And I want to thank you guys for popping in, sharing your project with us. The society sounds like it is on the right path to a bright future. And like I said, I am definitely going to pop in and join that Discord. We do these shows every Wednesday on YouTube. Every Thursday, we have a project on Twitter. And every Friday, we do our MNFT Freedom episode, which is all about educating on financial freedom and how to start and attain it. So by all means, please subscribe to the channel. Check us out. Thank you again. I appreciate, you guys coming on and joining me in this space. And with that, gentlemen, we are going to call it a night.
All right. Thanks, Scott.
Thank you.